Hi there, welcome to Fantasy Hub. I'm Mia, your storyteller. Today's story is filled with heartache, discovery, and a twist you won't see coming. So let's begin.
Picture a small college town nestled beneath mountains that scrape the belly of heaven itself. Maple Street lived Esmond Blackwood, 56 years of life carved into wisdom, silver hair catching moonlight like captured starfire. For 3 decades, she had been the town's keeper of celestial secrets, an astrologer who read stories written in planetary dance. 8 miles away, atop Observatory Hill, Chelsea Martinez pursued cosmic truth through telescopes and equations. At 25, she was the youngest professor ever hired by the university's astronomy department. Her dark eyes bright with the fire of discovery. Two women. Two ways of understanding the universe. Destiny would have them believe their paths were written in the stars, but science would insist it was merely probability and chance. Their worlds collided on a Tuesday night in October when Esme's vintage BMW broke down outside Murphy's all-night diner at 2:17 in the morning. Steam rose from under the hood like incense from a disturbed altar, and Esme sat trembling not from cold, but from thorough reading she'd just given. The cards had shown her own future: transformation, unexpected love, and catastrophic change. Chelsea Martinez walked out of the diner with coffee and a worn copy of Cosmos, saw the stranded woman, and felt compelled to help. Car trouble? Chelsea asked. Their eyes met for the first time. Brown eyes, deep as earth, meeting green eyes bright as emerging spring. Something shifted in the cosmic order, not visible to telescopes, but felt in the marrow of their bones. They talked until dawn in a vinyl booth. These women who should have had nothing in common. Chelsea spoke of neutron stars with a poet's passion, while Esmond shared constellation myths with a scholar's precision. Perhaps the universe is big enough to hold multiple truths, Esmond said when Chelsea mentioned their different perspectives. Maybe we're both seeking the same thing, Chelsea replied. Understanding. Some sense that we're not just random accidents, floating through an indifferent void. When Chelsea fixed Esme's truck, neither wanted the moment to end. As Esme drove away, watching Chelsea's figure shrink in her rearview mirror, her hands shook not from the engine's vibration, but from recognition of something she thought had died with her youth. Over the following weeks, Chelsea visited Esme's wraparound porch, where they debated cosmic truths while watching stars emerge. Esme found herself looking forward to these visits with an intensity that both thrilled and terrified her. At 56, she'd believed the chapter of romantic love had closed forever, but Chelsea brought spring wherever she went, challenging assumptions with curiosity rather than cruelty, listening with the same focused attention she gave her research. How old were you when you knew you were attracted to women? Chelsea asked one November evening. 43, Esme smiled. Embarrassingly late. It took decades to understand I was looking for love in the wrong constellation. I've been attracted to you since that first night, Chelsea said, shifting closer. On the porch swing, not just intellectually, romantically, in all the ways that matter. Esme's heart performed impossible gymnastics. Chelsea, you're 25. You could have Ian your own age, someone who doesn't see the poetry in what I do, who doesn't make me feel like I'm coming home every time we talk. Chelsea interrupted. Unless you're telling me you don't feel this too. I do feel it, Esme whispered. God help me, I do. Their first kiss happened on winter solstice, as if the universe chose the moment when darkness gives way to returning light. Under moonlight that painted silver in Esme's hair, Chelsea Trunetto makes some comment about axial tilt, but the words died when she saw beauty carved by divine geometry. Esmond. She breathed, and then there were no more words. Their lips met like celestial bodies finding proper orbit, inevitable, natural, right in ways that transcended logic. When they broke apart, both trembling, Esme said, well, that puts a new interpretation on planetary alignment. The months that followed burned with stellar intensity. They found rhythms that worked just at different schedules, dinners, while debating Mercury retrograde, picnics at the observatory under galaxies whose light had traveled millions of years to reach them, but even the brightest stars cast shadows. The first real challenge came at Chelsea's faculty dinner, where Esme felt the weight of curious stares and whispered comments. That's Chelsea Martinez, someone whispered. Such a shame she's going through her experimental phase. Is that her mother? Another asked, the casual cruelty hitting like a physical blow. Dr. Harrison Webb, the department head, made polite but Cold conversation, his subtext clear. What could a serious academic have in common with an astrologer? On the drive home, Esme suggested they slow things down. The talk is getting worse. I don't want it to hurt your business. Asterisk Chelsea pulled over and turned to face her with blazing eyes. My father told me something before he died. You can live. Trying to make other people comfortable with your choices, or life-making choices that make you comfortable with yourself. But you can't do both. She took Esme's hand. Being with you makes me comfortable with myself. Everything else is just noise. Asterisk that the doubts, once planted, grew like weeds. Every public outing brought awareness of disapproving looks. Esme began declining university events, withdrawing from the woman she loved out of misguided protection. Are you ashamed of me? Chelsea finally asked. I'm ashamed of what we look like to other people, Esme replied sharply. You should care about your reputation, your career. You deserve someone who adds to your life instead of complicating it. Asterisk, the words hung between them like a curse, like a prophecy neither wanted to face. The uncertainty felt like a weight too heavy for either to carry, and their love began to fracture under the pressure of an unforgiving world. Asterisk, the universe has a sense of timing that reflects either divine plan or cosmic irony. For Esmond Chelsea, that timing came when Dr. Reynolds suffered a heart attack, and someone needed took over his observation shifts during the Eta Aquarids meteor shower. Chelsea volunteered despite working 16-hour days, exhausted but unwilling to miss the celestial show. Esma offered to keep her company, hoping this could bridge back to what they'd been losing. Asterisk, they arrived at the observatory as sunset painted the sky in fire. For a few hours, it felt like old days talking about meteor mythology while Chelsea prepared her equipment, finding their familiar rhythm between faith and fact. Just after midnight, the real show began. Streaks of light painted silver paths across darkness, each lasting only seconds, but bright enough for wishes. Asterisk, look at that one. Chelsea breathed, pointing to a particularly bright meteor. That was probably the size of a grain of sand, but traveling so fast that she never finished the sentence. Asterisk, metal fatigue in the dome mechanism, wind catching the panel wrong, and terrible luck inspired in that moment. The massive steel panel broke free with a sound like thunder. Chelsea had half a second to react. She pushed Esmond to safety, taking the full impact herself. Asterisk, the crash of steel hitting concrete, then silence that swallowed all light in the universe. Chelsea lay crumpled, blood pooling beneath her head, terrifyingly still. Above them, meteors continued their ancient dance, indifferent to human tragedy. Esme knelt beside the woman she loved, hand shaking as she found a weak pulse. She called 911, applied pressure to the wound with her scarf, whispering Chelsea's name like an incantation. Don't you dare leave me, she whispered as they waited. We have too much left to figure out. Asterisk, the ambulance lights painted the observatory in aurora colors, and Esme climbed in beside Chelsea's unconscious form, holding her hand and making promises to a universe that had revealed itself far more fragile than either had imagined. Traumatic brain injuries are mysterious creatures. Chelsea survived surgery, survived the 3-day coma that left Esme sleeping in hospital chairs and living on terror and vending McKean. Coffee. When she finally opened her eyes on a Sunday morning, her first words were, "What happened? Where am I?" Normal questions. What Dr. Morrison hadn't prepared Esmond for was the blank, polite stare Chelsea gave her when she leaned over the bed with tears of relief. Asterisk. Chelsea, darling, it's me. It's Esma. Chelsea studied her face like someone solving a puzzle. I'm sorry, but I don single quotes T. Do I know you? Asterisk, retrograde amnesia, the doctor explained later. She's lost approximately 6 to 8 months off recent memory. It could be temporary, but we can't make promises. 6 to 8 months. The exact span containing every moment of their love story. Their first meeting, conversations, first kiss, first time making love, all erased as if it never happened. Asterisk for 3 days, Esme haunted the hospital like a ghost. She brought flowers Chelsea accepted dolitly, showed photographs that sparked no recognition. You're very kind, Chelsea said, studying a photo of them kissing on New Year's Eve, and well look. Happy that I'm sorry I don't remember any of this. Asterisk, the worst part was Chelsea's clinical curiosity about her condition, approaching her unforgetting like a research project. It's fascinating how identity depends on memory, she told Esmem. I know intellectually we had a relationship, but emotionally, it feels like looking at pictures of a stranger who shares my face. That night, Ez made the hardest decision of her life. She kissed Chelsea's forehead, a kiss that tasted like goodbye, and walked away. If Chelsea couldn't remember their love, perhaps it would be kinder to let her build a new life without complications. She couldn't recall choosing. Asterisk memory is like a river that can be dammed, but never permanently stopped. Over the following weeks, fragments of their time together surfaced in Chelsea's dreams, familiar laughter that made her heart race. Lavender scent that triggered profound longing, the urge to drive past a Victorian house on Maple Street. Chelsea was a scientist trained to investigate anomalies. These moments of inexplicable emotion demanded exploration. 3 weeks after discharge, she appeared at Esme's door with a manila folder thick with notes and photographs. Asterisk, I've been having dreams. She said, memories maybe, they all involve you. Esme prepared Earl Grey with honey exactly how Chelsea had always taken it, though she claimed not to remember. Some memories lived in the body even when the mind couldn't access them. Asterisk Chelsea had assembled evidence like a case study, photos from her phone, receipts from Murphy's Diner, printouts of Esme's website. I'm a scientist, she explained. The evidence suggests we had a significant relationship. I need to understand what happened between. So, Esme told her, piece by piece, their first meeting, gradual falling in love, the challenges they'd faced. Chelsea listened with research-focused attention, taking notes, treating their love story like a hypothesis needing testing, asterisk, but there were problems. Chelsea said finally, Esme nodded, the age difference, how people looked at us. I worried about your career, your reputation. We'd been growing apart before your accident, so the amnesia might have been ... convenient. Asterisk, a question cut to Esme's deepest fear that Chelsea's mind had chosen to forget because our bearing was too complicated. I've wondered that myself, Esme admitted. Chelsea closed her folder, studying Esme with scientific detachment. I want to try recreating some experiences, see if they trigger genuine memories rather than just fragments. Asterisk, over the following month, Chelsea approached reconstruction with methodical precision. They returned to Murphy's Diner, sat on Esme's porch recreating old debates, visited the repaired observatory. But it wasn't the same, couldn't be. Love isn't just shared experiences, accumulated intimacies, inside jokes, private languages. Chelsea was kind, engaged, intellectually stimulated. But she held herself at careful distance, observing rather than experiencing. Asterisk, the breakthrough came during their third week of experimental dating. At the observatory, fragments surfaced. I remember this, Chelsea said suddenly. Not all of it, but pieces. You were here that night. We're watching meteors when her hand moved to the scar on her temple. You saved my life, Esme said softly, and you saved mine. Asterisk, but intellectual recognition wasn't emotional reconnection. After weeks of trying, Chelsea finally admitted, I can see we were in love, can understand why. But I don't feel that overwhelming love anymore. I feel like I'm meeting you for the first time, not remembering someone I used to love. The words Esme had been preparing for still cut deep. Understanding and accepting were entirely different things. Asterisk, sometimes the universe provides answers to unasked questions. That answer came in Harrison Webb, appearing at Esme's door on a warm July evening with his predator's smile. I think you should know the truth about Chelsea's interest in you, he said, settling into the chair where Chelsea had sat during reconstruction attempts. Asterisk, before her accident. She discussed a research project about people who believe in astrology. She was particularly interested in studying someone local, someone she could observe without them knowing they were being studied. Asterisk, he produced a folder. She mentioned meeting an astrologer, someone older and isolated, who'd make an ideal subject for behavioral analysis. The words recontextualized every moment of joy as professional manipulation. Esme stared at papers in Chelsea's handwriting, psychological profiles, and romantic vulnerability and in scientific belief systems. A case study approach. The clinical language was devastating. Subject presents as intelligent but isolated, with strong emotional investment suggesting susceptibility to confirmation bias. Extended romantic syntaction would provide unprecedented access to thought patterns. Asterisk, the accident changed everything. Webb continued with false sympathy. The amnesia means couldn't remember the research project. But I thought you should. No, especially since Sasha's been spending time with you again. Asterisk after he left, Esme sat in gathering darkness, staring at photocopied evidence that their love had been an academic exercise. Every conversation kiss, moment of feeling understood, all part of studying her psychological vulnerabilities. That night, she drafted a letter explaining their reconstruction wasn't working, that it would be better to stop trying to recreate something clearly in the past. She couldn't tell Chelsea the truth without destroying the young woman's faith in her own capacity for authentic emotion. Asterisk, but some instinct call it intuition, hope, or stubborn refusal to accept something so beautiful cowled. Be entirely false made her hesitate. That hesitation would prove the most important decision of her life. Asterisk. The next morning, Chelsea called with excitement mixed with confusion. Something shopped, something important. Can you come to the observatory? Against better judgment, Esmond drove to the university. She found Chelsea in the lab, surrounded by papers, looking sleepless. Asterisk. I remembered, Chelsea said without preamble. Not everything, but enough. Webb came to see you, didn't he? Showed you a research proposal? How did you? Because he's been trying to destroy us since we began, Chelsea said fiercely. And I finally remembered what really happened. Asterisk, she gestured to papers spread across the table, emails, document drafts, university correspond. I did write a research proposal about astrology practitioners, she said. But not about you. 3 months before we met, as part of a grant application that got rejected. Asterisk, Webb knew about it because he was on the review committee. When he realized I was dating you, he saw an opportunity to get rid of what he considered an embarrassing relationship. Chelsea opened the folder, revealing the real proposal dated 4 months before Esm's breakdown outside Murphy's. He doctored the documents, changed dates, rewrote sections to make it sound like that proposal was about you specifically. Quite clever, kept enough original language to make it believable, but altered the context completely. Asterisk, but why? He's been trying to get rid of me since I was hired. A 25-year-old woman getting tenure track didn't sit well. When I started dating you, someone he considered beneath me, he saw ammunition. Asterisk, Chelsea's memory had returned in a sudden flood, triggered by finding her original research notes. The real timeline crashed back, bringing not just facts but emotions she thought lost forever. I remember everything now, she said, moving closer. Our first conversation. How you challenged me to think about the universe as more than data. The first kiss that felt like coming home to a place I'd never been. Asterisk, I remember falling in love with you, Esmond, not as research, but as the woman who taught me wisdom and wonder could coexist. That science and spirituality weren't enemies, but different lingas for the same mystery. Esmond stared, afraid to believe. How do I know this isn't another story? Chelsea stepped closer. Because you know me. You know the woman who stayed up all night helping with birth charts? Who learned tarot not because she believed, but because she wanted to understand your language. You know the woman who fell in love? With your mind first, your heart second, who spent weeks knowing your thoughts before daring to touch your hand. Looking into Chelsea's eyes, Esma saw not clinical detachment, but warm intensity of someone whose world had expanded beyond previous boundaries. She saw the woman who'd brought perfect coffee every morning, debated reality with passionate joy, kissed her like something precious. I remember you too, Esma said, voice breaking with relief. I remember all of it. Asterisk, their second first kiss was desperate and grateful, two people who'd lost each other and found their way back through lies and lost memory. They held each other in the observatory lab while Lesm's tears soaked Chelsea's shirt. I thought I'd lost you, Esme whispered. And I thought I'd lost myself, Chelsea replied. When the memories came back, it was like my heart remembered how to beat properly again. Asterisk, over following days, they navigated the strange territory of being lovers who'd forgotten they were lovers. They talked about Webb's deception and the challenges they'd always face as a couple, whose love didn't fit conventional patterns. He'll try again, Chelsea said one evening on Esme's porch. So we make it impossible for him to separate us. We integrate our work so completely that attacking our relationship means attacking something valuable. Asterisk, they began planning something unprecedented, collaborative, research that honored both approaches to understanding the universe. Chelsea would use academic credentials to legitimize astrological research, not proving planetary influence, but studying humanitized relations with the cosmos. Astrology is one of humanity's oldest attempts to find meaning in the universe, Chelsea explained. That's not pseudoscience, that's anthropology, psychology, cultural studies. Their first joint presentation was held exactly 1 year after meeting. The packed lecture hall heard Chelsea present astronomical facts while Esme shared mythological stories about Thesan phenomena. Together, they explored humanity's need to find meaning in the cosmos. Asterisk, the event was stunning success. Academic journals requested articles. Universities invited presentations. What began as relationship protection evolved into groundbreaking interest education. Webb, faced with undeniable professional success, had little choice but to publicly support what privately tried to destroy. Asterisk, a year and a half after the accident, they found themselves back at the observatory during the Geminid's meteor shower, this time with safety protocols in place. This time as colleagues contain the event for joint research. As meteors painted silver trails across winter sky, Chelsea asked, "Do you remember what you said in the ambulance? Don't you dare leave." Me, we had too much left to figure out. We did figure it out, didn't we? Chelsea's voice was contemplative. All our worries about age difference, what others thought, whether we could build something lasting. Asterisk, we figured out love isn't about having all the answers, Esme replied. It's about being willing to keep asking questions together. Chelsea reached into her pocket, pulling out a small velvet box that caught starlight. Asterisk, S. Blackwood, she said, dropping to one knee on the same deck where they'd almost lost everything. You taught me the universe is vast enough for multiple truths, that love doesn't follow rational laws that govern planetary motion. She opened the box, revealing a moonstone set in white gold, surrounded by diamonds orange like Orion constellation. Asterisk, the moonstone represents all our cycles, full love, eclipse, and full love again. The constellation is Orion because that's what was overhead when we first kissed. Will you marry me? Will you let me love you through whatever cosmic events the universe uplands? Will you be my partner in exploring mysteries we haven't solved yet? Asterisk, yes, Esme whispered, then louder, yes. Absolutely yes. As Chelsea slipped the ring on, a bright meteor blazed overhead, trailing light like cosmic blessing on their engagement. Asterisk, 5 years have passed since that engagement under falling stars. I have watched this remarkable couple build something unprecedented. Love that honors both inquiry and intuition, making space for facts and wonder, skepticism and faith. Their collaboration has grown into a nationally recognized program, bridging scientific education and cultural understanding. But more than professional success, what moves me is how they've learned to love across difference without eliminating that difference. Asterisk, Chelsea never became an astrology believer. Esme never abandoned cosmic faith. Instead, they found respect for each other's truth, curiosity about unshared perspectives, and recognition that love is large enough to hold paradox. The age difference that seemed insurmountable became just another relationship fact, no more significant than different heights or coffee preferences. What matters isn't the years separating their births, but the depth of understanding they've cultivated. Asterisk. If you're listening and wondering whether love can transcend practical considerations like age and social expectations, if you're wondering whether two people from different worlds can build something lasting, let me share what I've learned from watching Esme and Chelsea. Asterisk, love isn't about finding someone who completes you, it's about finding someone who inspires you to complete yourself. It's not about eliminating differences, but creating harmony despite them. Not about having answers, but exploring questions together. Asterisk, the universe is vast beyond comprehension, filled with mysteries that science and spirituality both struggle to describe. In such immensity, what are the odds that two people will find each other at exactly the right moment to create something beautiful? The odds are astronomical, infinitesimal, seemingly impossible. Asterisk, and yet it happens every day. People find each other across differences that should separate them, across insurmountable obstacles. They choose each other and build something together that neither could create alone. Asterisk, tonight, as you look up at stars, remember that somewhere, Esme and Chelsea are probably sharing their own patch of sky, still debating whether the universe has consciousness or meaning, still discovering new ways to love across the beautiful divide of their different seeing. Perhaps you, too, will find someone whose way of understanding is foreign to yours, but whose heart speaks a language your soul recognizes immediately. Perhaps you'll discover that the most beautiful love stories are written not in stars, but encouraged to reach for someone whose hand fits perfectly in yours despite rational reasons why it shouldn't. Asterisk, the universe is not just vast and mysterious and indifferent. It is also occasionally gloriously romantic. And sometimes it arranges for two people to find each other at exactly the moment when they're both brave enough to believe in impossible things. Asterisk, my name is Samuel. Chen and I have been privileged to witness many love stories in my 78 years, but none have taught me more about the persistence of hope, the power of memory, and the eternal dance between destiny and choice than the story of Esme and Chelsea. This is their love story, and it continues still, written in stardust and wonder, in the space between faith and knowledge, in the eternal human quest to find meaning in the magnificent mystery of being alive.